So we finally got an Applejack and Fluttershy episode in this season, and though it may seem like an odd pairing at first, the episode demonstrated remarkable interaction between these two when it comes to dealing with an issue the hard way and the considerate way. But seriously, we went from Power Ponies to Bats by Meriwether Williams? That sounds like it won't end well. I mean, the only redeeming qualities I can think of from her was Wonderboard Academy and Heartswarming Eve. But now she will have to step up her game and actually create a good episode that can stand on its own.
And here I was doubting this episode.
Oh great, right on time ladies and gentlemen is ToonKritic. Now we just need a robot and a brain in a jar.
Well, isn't that oddly specific?
Hey guys, sorry I'm late. The time vortex is all out of whack. I accidentally made a few stops in the future on the way here.
Wait, from the future? Oh boy, this ought to be good. Okay, I'd be an idiot for asking this, but did Justin Bieber guest voice on the show yet?
If I told you, it would destroy the universe.
Wow, I can't believe that worked. Okay, let me try something. Okay, now all we need is $1 million. Not those kind of bucks!
I'm not even going to ask how you got that remote, but all I want to know is, where can I get one?
Anyways, let's get on with the episode.
Yeah, that's a good answer. We'll go with that.
So Rarity Takes Manhattan is probably one of my favorite episodes.
Cameron, that episode hasn't aired yet.
Wait, really? What year is it?
It just became 2014.
Ugh, stupid time circuit is broken again. Alright, so what episode are we talking about then?
Yeah, we were going to discuss the episode before that one called Bats. Real inventive title there, guys, by the way.
Oh, well that was a pretty great episode. I guess I can stay and talk about it.
Well, allow me to get the monitor out so we can get started. There we go. So as the episode begins, we see that Applejack is getting ready for apple bucking date, but finds out that the vampire fruit bats are back again. No, not those ones, I meant these ones. The ones that look like flying gremlins or something. Now Applejack likes to take action before thinking and wants to get rid of these vermin to save the farm by any means.
However, Fluttershy, being the animal-minded one as always, figures that it would be best to reason with the bats. Perhaps get them to just take a small section of the orchard and leave the rest untouched, which seems like a good plan. Okay, not really. I kind of think the plan's gonna suck.
It worked for Buffalo and Over a Barrel, and how different can bats really be from Buffalo?
Pretty different as it turns out. The bats don't seem to be willing to negotiate. I mean, I don't blame them. If you had a whole orchard of an edible food source, you wouldn't want to give that up either.
And when we have a divide between two characters like this, what's the best way to solve it?
I know, an all-out balls-to-the-wall deathmatch in Mario Kart Double Dash?
Is it singing a song?
Or singing a song, because that solves everything, right guys?
The song in this episode is fantastic. It's hard to find much of comparison for it, though, since it goes for something very different from most of the other songs in the show. It kind of feels like a darker version of the Find a Pet song, which is pretty neat.
I was instantly reminded of the song The Backson from the new Winnie the Pooh movie, and I'll admit it was a catchy song as well.
Season 4 is taking a very cinematic approach to the songs, which I love. This song in particular had great cinematography. The contrast in colors between Applejack's and Fluttershy's lines in particular is ingenious. Applejack sings with very dark and grim colors, while Fluttershy has incredibly vibrant colors with a touch of bloom added to everything.
To add on to that, this song just takes a grim approach to dealing with creatures like the fruit bats that just want to survive. Fluttershy brings up some good points, but sadly her points get drowned out by Applejack's awesomeness. It's like, so sorry Fluttershy, but Applejack's parts of the songs were much better than yours, therefore her opinion is right and yours is wrong. Friendship is magic logic, guys, where a duet can determine what the general consensus could be for a problem.
You're kidding me. All it takes is a good song to win a dispute? I gotta try that out sometime.
If that were the case, then judging by this song, Rarity and Rainbow Dash should be ruling the world.
And yet they still won't let Tara sing. Fascinating.
Now that we got the song out of the way, the main six come to the conclusion that the bats have to go, and so they get Twilight to use the spell similar to the one used on the Pale Sprites to stop eating all the food.
Okay, this bit actually bugs me. What happened to Twilight always being the middle ground in these debates? She sided with Applejack pretty quickly here. I mean, she's pretty much the princess of friendship now. I would think that she would have a much more moderate role here.
Yeah, kinda noticed that too. Maybe she's just turning out as a princess in name, than actually being a princess. But that's just a minor nitpick.
This seems like as good a time as any to bring up the animation. Oh god, the animation. Normally when people talk about the great animation, they always point to examples of lighting, but that's not even the best part of the animation in this episode. The facial expressions and movements are all very, well, expressive. And it really adds just that much more emotion to the characters in a show not tell kind of way.
I gotta say, the animation hasn't just gotten better in terms of lighting and color shading, but also in terms of expressiveness. But now we come to one of the most controversial but well-designed parts in this episode, Fluttershy as a bat pony.
I can already smell the fan content and tsunami incoming, but man does she look cool. Even the small subtle changes make Fluttershy grim and outstanding. Seriously, look how creepy she looks. You got the wings, the fangs, the duller fur. Guys, I don't know about you two, she looks awesome.
Well, sure, Flutterbat looks great, but this whole conflict of her turning into a bat really has no place in the story. A conflict is great when it arises out of a character's personality traits, like the conflict between Applejack and Flutters at the beginning of the episode. This whole bat thing was just an unlucky magical misfire that happened to Fluttershy. As a result, it doesn't really feel like this conflict is a part of the problem going on between Applejack and Fluttershy, which makes the lesson at the end feel just as unrelated. It's a big problem in the story, but am I willing to look over some sloppy writing in exchange for seeing Fluttershy turn into a freaking bat? Absolutely.
I noticed that as well. It kind of confused me because, like you said, nothing was really resolved. They could have built up some sort of rivalry between them, and in the end, they put the bats away into their own section anyway. So that's a temporary resolution as opposed to a full one. But then there's also the little details they throw in. I liked that. From the adorable cutie mark adorned beacons to Twat's fancy hologram tricks, sometimes I like the little details. Even Pinky, who kind of annoys me, had her own signal. I think it's interesting what little references or jokes they throw in that fans will just eat up.
Not to mention, William Anderson has totally outdone himself with this whole scene, especially with the hologram part. It always saddens me to see just how little his work gets noticed in the show, but I guess that's just the curse of making background music. The better the job you do, the less likely you'll get noticed.
Story of my freaking life, man.
I love the design of Fluttershy as a bat pony, and while the explanation for a transformation felt questionable, I still like how they managed to resolve the issue and turn her back into a pony. Well, for the most part at least. Wait a minute, is this yet another story arc they have in store for this season? I mean, come on! First it was the chess, then the castle and the pony of shadows, then the Equestria games, and now this tooth thing! How much more of this stuff are they gonna give us?
Oh, come now, it's not like this series has more plot holes than a Swiss cheese factory. Oh wait, they do. Add it to the pile, folks.
They better start closing up, or at least progressing on some of these arcs pretty soon, or else it's just gonna become a huge mess.
Well, I think it's time for our final thoughts on this episode, and Cameron, since you saw this episode before both of us did, you should go first.
Well, I actually saw this episode twice. The first time I saw it, I hated it, because all I saw were the flaws in the story that I mentioned. But later, I rewatched the episode, and that's when I noticed all the finer details in it, which more than make up for the story.
Well, for me, the writing was alright, and that's saying a lot considering it was Meriwether Williams who wrote the episode and not Megan McCarthy like the title stated. But luckily, Megan McCarthy pointed out that the credit for the episode goes to Meriwether Williams, and you know what? She deserves it. Maybe there was hope for this writer after all.
I'm not getting my hopes up again. This episode, though, I enjoyed it. I usually enjoy Applejack episodes. Most of the time. She's an interesting character to work with that's hardworking, dedicated, and only wants what's best for her family. Fluttershy, as usual, tries to take the diplomatic approach and does what she does best, except for having her stare turned back on her. Though I question how she became a bat pony despite Twilight's cool little diagram. That doesn't really affect me, I guess. I don't know. It really doesn't make much sense to me, but it looks cool. I like this episode for what it gave to us, and I hope the next AJ episode will be something even better.
Well, we still got Pinky Apple Pie to look forward to, and it might just turn out as good as this one, depending on the writer.
Well, I think I finally got these time circuits working, so I best be going to the Season 4 finale!
Wait, take me with you! Ah, damn.
I wonder if my remote can do the same thing. Hey ToonKritic, stand right there and let me try something out. There we go, it worked like a charm. Oh damn, it was the wrong button.
There are not enough nopes in the world for this one. Not even a few.
Well, that's all for now. I guess I'll see you all later.